So hello and welcome. And in today's video, we are going to connect to our inner critic. And they, our inner critics can cause a lot of turmoil. That's why it's good to connect to them and to get to know them and to see their value and their positive intention. They can be quite extreme and they can um, undermine our confidence and ability to thrive. So, if you can, prepare pen and paper for this meditation. And we can start by arriving here and now. You can find a comfortable position. And notice stream of thoughts, body sensations. And just simply notice what is present, knowing that all is welcome. Now we are going to connect to our inner critics. And maybe your inner critic is already present now. And if not, you can think of some past case scenario, something that happened recently when your inner critic was loud. And check what critical voices are present now, or what critical voices were present during this past experience. Maybe it is the perfectionist who always strives to do things perfectly to protect you from the judgment of others. Maybe it is the controller who tries to control the surroundings, situations, behaviors. Maybe it's the underminer, the one that often tries to undermine your efforts and drain your self esteem so you don't take any risks. Maybe it is a part that shames you, critic that it's shaming you a lot. So you feel bad about yourself. Maybe there are voices that are criticizing other people. Or maybe it's the inner critic that attacks your self worth. And choose one now that is the loudest, the most intense. And now sketch this part. Draw this part on the piece of paper. How do they want to be represented on the piece of paper? How does this inner critic wants to be represented on the piece of paper? And take your time, and you can even pause this video and resume when you're ready. Now see how you feel towards this part. Do you like it? Or you don't like it at all? And if there are parts that don't like your inner critic, you can gently ask them to step back into a spectator role while you get to know the inner critic. And now see if you can find some compassion towards this inner critic and perhaps look at him with a little bit of kindness. And take your time doing this. Try to look at this inner critic with kindness and compassion. You can let your inner critic know that you are here with it. And you can welcome him or her. And you can see how your inner critic responds to you welcoming them. Is he surprised? Is she surprised? And if it feels appropriate, you can send them kind words. You can send your inner critic some kind words or some positive, loving energy. How does he respond to your kind words, to your loving, positive energy? Can you sense more spaciousness? Can you sense that your inner critic relaxes more? And you can just spend some time with your inner critic so he can feel your presence. He can feel your interest. And your willingness to get to know him. And if it feels appropriate, you can ask your inner critic, what are they thinking? Or you can ask them, what is your age? Often our inner critics are internalized parents' voices or voices from the society. Even it can go as deep as generational trauma. And maybe see if you can see some visual. How do they look? And take your time. You can pause this recording anytime you want. It's crucial that you don't rush through this process. And you can also ask your inner critic, when you say these critical things to me, how are you trying to help? And see what is the response of your inner critic. and be nice, polite, and civil to this part, knowing that it has a good intention. And we are trying to find out what is it. And if you can, get really curious about your inner critic. And if you can, begin to understand this critical part that is actually working very hard to protect you. And can you realize that your inner critic has a good intention? And you appreciate him for protecting you? Maybe just a little bit. Maybe can you find a little bit of appreciation to start with? Can you see how hard is your inner critic working? And it has been most likely working for a very long time. Maybe he or she is tired. And you can also see if your inner critic feels understood. Hearing and seeing all this, do they feel understood? And it doesn't have to be all the way, but is there a little bit of understanding? And now, if it makes sense, you can update your inner critic. And how do we do this? You can just simply let your inner critic know how old you are. And you can tell them about your current life. Something about your current life. So they understand that you're all, so they understand that you are all grown up, wiser, more mature, that you don't live with your parents anymore. And you can take care of yourself. And now you can thank your inner critic. You can thank them for protecting you, for talking and connecting today with you, for cooperating to whatever extent they chose to cooperate. Even a little bit of cooperation counts. And ask your inner critic how they would like to stay in touch with you. Maybe you can check with them every morning for upcoming 7 days. When you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth, for instance. Or maybe you can remind them next time when they start heavily criticizing you. And you can not respond to these words as usual, but you can respond to your inner critic differently. And you can say perhaps something like, okay, I hear you. I know you are worried about me right now and that you're worried that I'll make a mistake or get hurt by others. But if you could right now step aside and give me some space. And when you feel that this process is finalized, then you can slowly come back. If you had closed eyes, you can open your eyes. You can look at your notes, knowing that you can reconnect with your inner critic when he starts criticizing you again. And you don't have to take this voice so seriously. You don't have to take this voice as all who you are. It's most likely a young part of you that is scared and working hard and trying to protect you. So I hope this was helpful, and let me know in the comments below how was this meditation for you.